Hello and welcome to Let's Talk Movies. I'm your host Adrian, and I'm joined by my very special guest Thomas.
Hello.
This is my first time ever hosting a podcast, so please bear the slack of a really shitty podcast. Um, just to get a premise of it for y'all, I am inviting a guest every now and then and watching a brand new movie that either that I have seen before or is brand new for both of us. In this case, we watched Tenet like probably I would say like 3 hours ago, and it was quite an experience. It was my first time watching a movie on IMAX, and I believe it's also Thomas's first time watching a movie on IMAX. But anyways, I'm gonna start off interviewing him, and then we'll go into more specific questions about the movies, go into the spoiler free for those that have not seen the movie yet, and then go more in depth or try to at least for those who have or just don't give a. Um, but we will give a rating for someone that watches movies and someone that doesn't. And yeah, so how you been?
Or for those that just don't give a no, that was really good. Alright. No, I'm sorry. I interrupted you.
That's all good.
And
How you been?
I'm good. I've been busy.
Been busy.
Very busy.
All right. Well, you definitely took some time to watch this extremely long movie. It runs I think like 2 hours and 30 minutes, and it definitely felt like 2 hours and 30
It
minutes
felt like 6 hours and 30 minutes.
for you probably. I definitely did get bored halfway through it. I mean,
Dude, I got bored like the second, like 15 minutes into the movie.
I don't blame you.
Sure.
We'll get into that a little bit later.
Anyway,
So-
that's the end of the podcast. That just sums up how we feel about it.
That's how you felt. All right. So I have some questions for you.
All right.
So this is more of an interview for you, and then we'll get into more depth about movies. So, what are some of your like goals, like short or long or both?
Goals?
Yeah, like what do you want to achieve?
Well, I would say like short term goals is to make like a full time living, just doing music or working in the recording business, or yeah, just in that world. And then long term, I would say that I would want to at some point be in Nashville and working in that industry.
Nice. All right. And I've known you for quite a while, and I know that you have a really big family, and I know that like music is a really big part of it. So, how do you think being in a big family like that, that's deeply in love with music, influenced you to be who you are right now?
I would say it's probably like everything to do with it. I mean, I was basically born into music. My dad plays at church, and he's played at church for my whole life. So I would always be sitting on the piano bench with him, watching him play. He got me drum sets when I was real little for Christmas, for birthdays, just whatever. And I would bang them until they broke, and then he would buy me more. And then I started playing piano, and it's just by watching it and just being in an environment that really like kind of like accepts it and like really supports it is everything. And if I wasn't there, I wouldn't be doing it how I'm doing it now.
And I know you play like a variety of like a bunch of instruments. What would you say are like probably your top three for those,
Top three that I'm best at,
or that you
or
like
that
enjoy playing?
enjoy playing? I would say guitar for sure. Drums.
Drums.
Drums was like my favorite. I suck at it, but they're the most fun.
I
They're the
mean-
most fun. You just slam, smack, and whack everything you can see.
Are those the sounds that a drum makes?
No. If you really wanted me to, I could beatbox, but that would suck for all your listeners.
Maybe for
and
another time.
Yeah. And the third, banjo.
Banjo.
Banjo. I also suck at it, but it's so fun, and you get a lot of blisters doing it.
And for those that don't listen or play these instruments, what would you say is the key difference between a guitar and a banjo? Or like, yeah, in that aspect.
Well, obviously I like the shape. One's Just a circle.
No, I mean obviously, but like like
You asked.
I mean like in the actions of playing it.
Oh, the actions. Oh, well, it's very similar because the banjo you finger pick like that. I know this means nothing to
To the
anyone
audio
listening.
listeners, I'm sorry, but he's just moving his fingers like nothing.
Yes. And a guitar you either strum or you can play it the same. I mean, it's very similar. It's just banjo has 5 strings. You done? You need more noise, Monica? Want to make some more? Want to just like slam the door?
Yeah. So you said banjo has 5 strings and a guitar. I'm guessing 6.
6, yes.
Yeah. Basic knowledge. All right. Um, I was gonna ask, where do you feel like? How do you feel like in the aspects of what you're wanting to do as a career? Like, how do you feel like you are right now?
Mm, I would say I'm heading in the right direction. Just I figured if I want to be somewhere, I might as well surround myself with people that are doing it, and so I'm surrounding myself with, I'm working with people who do this for a living, and have been to Nashville or like are currently in Nashville
Yeah.
when working in Nashville. So I feel like um, I'm on the upwards. I'm going up hills.
All right. I just had another question off the top of my head, but I completely just forgot because I was listening to your response. I'll probably jump back to it later on before we actually start reviewing the movie. But I have some movies based on just any basic movie questions. So, movies are a portal for some people to enter another world within the 90 or up to probably 3.5 hours, and you get involved with the characters, and eventually if the movie is really good, you feel for the characters. So, or it's just the plot or just the message that it conveys throughout the whole film.
Yeah.
So what do you think is one that like just hit different for you, or just that a movie that really made you think? It could either be just like a comedy, it doesn't really have to be a specific genre.
Well, I'd say the movie that springs to mind that I've watched recently is it was called Instant Family.
I love that movie.
Dude, it was such a good movie, you know.
I forgot where I was doing. I don't think I was in town, but my parents went to go see it, and they were like, "You should really go watch this movie." I'm like, "I've seen the trailers, and it looks interesting." And like, as one of my favorite young actors in Isabella Moner or Merced, because she changed her name recently. But if you're listening to this, I'm a big fan. But anyways, huh? Shut up.
Hit
All
him up.
right. So,
Dude, what if this podcast like gets you a date with her?
doubt it, but I hope so. Um, I ended up watching. I don't recall where. I think I just like torrented on like 1, 2, 3 movies, which I do not recommend watching a movie on your phone. I highly do not, and especially if it's on a torrent website, because it definitely puts a lot of viruses on your phone. And yeah, now I have a new one. Well, it's shitty now, but anyways. Besides the point, it was a really good movie. It conveyed a really good message. I think like people that like critique movies to the bone, like they're like big Pulp Fiction fans or like Tarantino and all that. Like they won't see this as a piece of cinema because I mean it's not. But as
Yeah,
a
why?
movie, huh?
Why?
Just the aspect of like the way it was like directed, it's pretty bad. The script, I mean, it's pretty cringy, but it's also a script that appeals to a family or to a broader audience. Um, I would say like half of the acting is bad. Like besides the family has like the Mark Wahlberg. I forgot the female's name. Uh,
Wow.
and like the two little kids were amazing in that movie.
They were, yeah.
For kids, but I mean it's like I don't know. I don't want to say cheesy. Like Daddy's Home is a cheesy movie.
Yeah.
It's like kind of in between, but it's at the same. It's not a piece of cinema. Like it's not something that people are gonna talk about from here in 20 years and talk about like the shots and all that.
you.
I
I'm gonna be talking about that
I love
in
that.
20 years, dude. That movie made me cry.
It
It was
was
so good.
really.
Oh my god, he's so good. When I had a thought and then it just disappeared.
Oh my god.
All right.
Um, I would say it did move me. But I mean, it didn't make me cry like it made you cry. Um, but going from there, since you can't remember what you were gonna say, uh, what is? He's flipping me off. What is
No, I'm not.
What are like a handful of movies? Cause I that made you cry.
That made me cry.
Because I know one of them, and I swear if you don't mention it,
I'm not gonna mention it because I didn't cry.
yes, you did.
No, I didn't. Shut up.
I got
You do not have video evidence. Shut up.
I have really good vision, and I have really good memory,
No, you
and
don't.
I recall when I see something
Shut up.
big going on, and seeing tears come out of your eyes in that movie was
That was not big. You've seen me cry before.
no,
Actually, probably not. You
no, I haven't.
I don't cry.
That was the first time I ever saw you cry.
Yeah, I only really cry at movies. There was a movie called Eight Below.
Ipolo.
Eight Below. It's a movie about the dog sled teams in Alaska,
Oh yes, yes.
and they all like died.
Oh wow!
Spoiler
alert! For anyone that wanted to see that movie, I'm sorry.
Dude, but I cried so hard at that one, and I was like, I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry.
So
I cried.
it was a dog movie. Basically.
It was a dog movie, yes.
Okay.
But that was the only dog movie I
You ever cried in? Okay.
that made me cry. What else made me cry?
Well, obviously, Instant Family made you cry.
Instant Family made me cry. I think those are the only movies that made me cry.
For those of you at home, he also cried in *Star Is Born* with Lady Gaga and Bradley
No, I
Cooper.
didn't.
He cried in it. I mean, it's a really, really good movie. I highly recommend that one.
Guess what?
I cried too.
Guess who's editing this?
Ah, you little piece of.
What can I say? What can I say?
But I mean, this is still part of the podcast. Anyways,
Alright.
next on to the next question.
Next question. Dude, you're so much better at this than I am. I'm not gonna lie.
Thank you. All right.
But you better link my podcast in your description.
Maybe.
Dude.
All right.
You.
So when you talk to someone like a director or let's say someone that a movie critic, they have sometimes, for the most part, they have favorite movies. I personally don't have like not even a top 10 anymore from the amount of movies I've seen and how
Ooh, big shot over here.
Um,
I've seen all the movies.
I haven't seen them all. I still haven't seen what's it called, Pulp Fiction. So yeah, it's a shame on me. But anyways, I've seen, I mean, movies that are like, I mean, just amazing within themselves. But I honestly can't choose not even a top 10 or 15. I mean, I would, but like they wouldn't be a specific order. But like for you, what are like probably top 5 or even just top 3 movies that you like? They don't have to be like extremely good. They could be just like Grown Ups or something like that. It's just something cheesy. Or but like what is like the 3 movies that stick with you?
That stick with me.
Yeah.
Instant Family.
Yeah, I figured.
Instant Family and Instant Family.
Really? Just Instant Family?
At the moment, yeah. I haven't really watched a lot of movies. Oh, there was a no, it didn't stick with me, so I guess not. Any Adam Sandler and like David Spade or like Jennifer Aniston.
Like all 3 together, or just like any
Or,
movie
like-
that has Adam Sandler in those 2?
Yeah, they make
Have you seen Uncut Gems?
probably.
Probably, yeah. That is a no for me.
Dude, I'm like the-
I'm assuming it's a no.
I am like the worst person you could have had on for.
All right, when you get
like
home,
a
I
movie
suggest.
podcast.
It's the reason why I'm hosting this instead of you.
Fair enough.
That one's also a good movie, Uncut Gems. It is currently on Netflix as of the time of recording this. Highly recommend watching it. It has stars Adam Sandler. I'll probably get into it in a different podcast, but anyways. So would you consider? I'm probably mentioning Grown Ups too much, but would you say Grown Ups is one of those movies? Yeah.
Yeah, I would say so.
All right. I mean, it's not a bad movie. It's
I like how you
it's
answer for
a
me.
it's a really shitty comedy, but it's something that you could watch over and over again.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Um,
Oh, that's what we're talking about.
yeah.
Oh,
Or just any, like, I guess, yeah, your top 3 movies. But I mean, Instant Family,
um, Good Boy.
Good Boy,
Uh,
Good Boys, the recent one, or Good Boy,
Good Boys. The whatever.
the little kids.
Yeah, the little kids.
That is a good movie.
That was so funny. She's our babysitter and she tried to touch our peepees.
uh, that is a really good movie.
And Tommy Boy.
Tommy Boy. Okay,
That was a good movie, dude. You can't tell me it wasn't.
I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you. All right. How does 2020 has been a really year for some of us, or most of us. I doubt anyone has been having a good year unless you won the lottery. Um, and it prevented us from doing many of the things that we are used to doing normally. And I don't know. Last time before quarantine and all this went down, I think the last time I went to a movie theater was in February to watch what was it called? It had Harrison Ford and this like CGI dog, The Call of the Wild.
Oh yeah.
I saw that one. Like that was weirdly enough, that was the last movie I saw before quarantine. And we've been, I guess, I would say 6 to 8 months without having movie theaters open. So how does it feel being back in like in an atmosphere like that?
Oh, it was quite the experience today. Cause I've been to the movie theaters a couple times, since like quarantine, kind of like loosened up.
Mm-hmm.
But this was like, I mean, for one, this was the loudest movie theater I've ever been in my life, and I almost like died.
I mean, it was IMAX.
Yeah. But I think the last movie I saw before quarantine was 1917.
That was an amazing film. I got lucky enough to watch it like I think in January.
Okay.
Yeah, so I saw it. It was like one of the few movies I saw this year before
Mhm.
the whole chaos broke
Yeah.
out. I
So-
think I only saw 2 movies in theaters, 1917 and Call of the Wild.
That's rough.
And then starting back, I've seen
Tenet.
Tenet. Actually, this is the only movie I've seen.
Yeah, no, that's
3
that's the only-
times.
Well, yeah, because that was like the movie that like opened the theaters up and
It really did. I think it was a good way to open back up theaters, although people are still scared of coming back. I would say it's safe enough. The movie theaters are definitely taking precaution
don't say that.
and
If someone
well,
dies, you're
uh,
liable.
It's up to you. You're going at your own risk. But I am saying, from my experiences, they do a great job of keeping everyone 6 feet apart. They definitely do clean the cinemas. Well, from what I've seen, I don't know. They just like walk in with the cleaning supplies and just like sit there with their thumbs up.
Lysol and just kind of
Just like spray it in the air. They don't even they don't even wipe down the tape. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, some people aren't getting paid enough for it. But I don't know. I've seen Tenet. I saw it twice in XD, which I don't think it's as big as like around the country. It's only specific to Cinemark movie theaters. But I would say it's similar to IMAX, just like slightly. It's like a Walmart version of IMAX, I would say. Being in an IMAX theater, it's you could slightly tell the difference. The sound was definitely a lot louder.
Oh
The
my gosh.
the screen was much bigger and much like I don't know, like clear. I would say.
I didn't even like I didn't even look at the screen as we were like walking up to our seats. Then we turned around and sat down.
And it
I
was
was like,
enormous.
I was like, oh my.
That was like, and that's as close as I've been to like a screen that big.
That was so
It
big.
was it's pretty big. I highly suggest if you're gonna watch a movie like Tenet or any big movie, action movie actually, highly suggest watching it on IMAX. It's definitely worth the bang for your buck.
Dude, that screen was bigger than Steve Carell's forehead.
Probably your forehead too.
Shut up.
All right. Let me look at the other questions. All right. So I think that's all the questions I have from the top of my head, and I can't recall that other question I had earlier. So as of
Many
right now,
said.
we are gonna go into the spoiler-free section of the movie. For those of you that really want to go blind into this movie, I would suggest probably leave now. But if you're okay with just talking about the broad aspect of the movie and how we felt, we're definitely gonna give like a rating and probably a recommendation, and then once we go into the spoiler talk, I'll warn you listeners before we go more in depth, and I'll give probably another like another recommendation for those that really do care. Um, but yeah, I do suggest probably watching this movie blindly for those that you don't know what that is. It's just going to the movie without watching the trailers or looking much into it, which is what how some movies should be watched.
Mm-hmm.
But it's definitely okay to have watch a trailer to get an aspect of
Yeah.
what the movie's about. So going into the spoiler free section, um, what are like your thoughts, just broad thoughts without giving anything away from the movie?
Broad thoughts.
Yeah.
I would say
Just like let's say you literally just walked out the theater and you're like,
what the.
yeah.
That's
that is
that's
that
what it
is
was.
a response I'm pretty sure everyone is gonna have when they walk out the theater.
Her food came out her nose. Oh my god.
Oh my god, there's a huge mess going on behind the scenes. All right, so yes,
Yeah, that
what the is definitely something that goes through everyone's head, even through the movie. I
Yeah.
would say. So this movie is confusing. It's creative in its own way. It's original. It's very, very original. I don't think anyone is gonna attempt to do this in another probably 20 years, or something similar to it.
Yes.
Although Christopher Nolan is an amazing director, I'm he's probably my favorite director right now. If for those of you that don't know, he directed the Dark Knight movies, Inception, Interstellar, Dunkirk, and probably an old movie you won't recognize, Prestige. Oh, that one isn't too old. Memento is one of them. Insomnia, all great movies. I don't think he's ever made a movie that like has busted bad.
Really? Wow.
I mean, some are better than others, but he's been very consistent
Okay.
with his movies.
Okay.
But I would say this is from him being my favorite director. I've been hyping this movie up so much, and I've hyped myself up too much. And I think I hyped myself a little too much on it. I've shared the trailer with plenty of people. I'm sorry for those of you that I have. I know. I think I showed it to you once.
The trailer?
Yeah.
Yeah, you played it. You sent it to me, and then you played it to me when we were like hanging out.
Yeah. So I mean, it wasn't that bad. Or I don't.
Wait,
know.
what? You mean the movie?
Like
or-
showing you the trailer.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, it sort of got like
Got you intrigued.
that movie cannot be spoiled with the trailer.
That is true. But although the movie does just take away from it. The trailer does.
I'm sorry.
It's all good.
I ruined you.
All right, but I would say that the trailer probably could like sway your thoughts on the movie before you go watch it, and probably like give you, I don't know, I guess.
Which is, I think, why I was I was so confused because I went in there expecting something,
That's how I felt the
and
first
then
time.
it wasn't.
It wasn't what it
wa-
was.
It wasn't what it was, and it
Or
was
what
a
you
lot,
thought it
and it
was.
was a lot more confusing
Yes.
because my brain is just dumb.
Yeah.
and can't think that smart.
If you have a big brain, this is definitely a movie for you. And if you're also a physics
A physics major.
physics major, I've definitely heard from a lot of people that are like physics majors that they actually enjoyed the movie.
This is the first time
'Cause they actually-
their career paid off.
Yeah, they're all that money going into college just to get a degree to understand one movie. That was the sole purpose of college. But apparently, to a lot of like for some physicists, I don't know if physicist is the right word, but like some people that have studied physics have like confirmed that like or like agree upon like that they actually executed that part of the movie right.
But like you were talking to physicists.
I wasn't talking to, but
Oh.
I've seen
Okay.
videos and other people talk about people that are like into physics basically or have studied in that general area that they did get most of the inversion stuff
Okay.
right,
That's what confused me the most was like the.
all that going on. Yeah, well, yeah, that is.
I think we should save this for spoiler.
We'll get that in eventually. We'll just get back to that in a bit. But this movie is really confusing for some. It may be off-putting as well. It's just in the aspect that the movie is always two steps ahead of you in some ways.
Yeah.
That it makes it too complicated for you to understand. But sometimes if you've seen in a lot of movies like I have, you see a lot of the stuff coming from like a mile away. I definitely saw a twist that happens halfway through the movie. I the first time I saw it, I picked it off like that.
Yeah.
Like I knew what was going on, and like that's not from what the film did wrong. It's basically something that I have so much experience
Okay.
watching movies, and I like twists are like some are really good and catch me off guard, and some
Yeah.
are just like, I mean, I've seen too much movies
Mhm.
that where I could pickpocket or figure it out.
Yep.
But anyways, yeah, it is a confusing movie, but although it is a visually appealing movie, um, a little fun fact before we get into the spoiler is I would say this: uh, the movie hardly has any CGI. All right. The movie hardly has CGI going on. Most of that is practical. In the trailers, you see a plane crashing into a building that is 100% real.
Wow.
They actually bought a Boeing 747 and crashed it into an actual building. I think from what Christopher Nolan said, I think that was like the most expensive part of the movie. The movie actually it cost like 250 million to make this movie.
And 200 million of it was buying the airplane.
And
crashing
everything
it.
was just free. They didn't even have to pay the actors. It was voluntary work. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, working with a director like this, I wouldn't be surprised people being a volunteer with these movies.
You only had
like
to
for
pay the actors for like the one scene they were in.
Yeah,
Most of
there
them.
was there was a few big actors in this movie.
Yeah.
But another fun fact in the movie Wolf of Wall Street, I don't know if you heard or seen it, or for you at home. Um, it's a Martin Scorsese film. He's like probably one of the best living directors. He's made many good. I think he's like probably like the face of cinema. I would say not necessarily. There could be an argument for Alfred Hitchcock and Stanley Kubrick, but he is he's like probably because he's still alive and still
Yeah.
making movies. He made Irishman.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So he's an amazing director, and it had Leonardo DiCaprio in that movie, so
Yep.
it had a lot of star power. Margot Robbie was in
Margot
it too,
Robbie, yeah.
and Jonah Hill really wanted to work with the director Martin Scorsese, so he was willing to take a pay cut just to work with him.
Oh, wow.
So
I didn't know
with Christopher Nolan, I wouldn't be surprised if someone with like a small actor would do it,
Yeah.
or even a big actor if they don't really care for the money and they don't care for the art of cinema.
Yeah. They
Um,
just want to hop in.
and just
Yeah.
and be part of it. I mean, Quentin Tarantino is probably one of those directors as well.
Yeah.
Living directors
For sure.
that someone would admire or love to be in it. But yeah, this film is amazing. Most of it is practical, and I'll get a little bit more into that later on. What is something that struck for you in this movie,
Like as
visually?
visually?
Or not even visually, or it could even be the score.
I would say
Or just
I
something
really
about the movie.
enjoyed like we're talking about the airplane crashing scene. That I really enjoyed how like as it went through all, because it was like a very like whatever 3 minute clip from like their like the plan to it happening.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed how the score kind of carried it.
yeah,
And it was really like it all made sense because it was so loud.
yeah.
It was kind of like, oh, okay, like okay, it's getting more exciting, and you're just like, oh, here's the
Mm.
climax.
Of that
Yeah,
specific scene.
which I guess helps with the fact that you're watching an airplane crash into a hangar. But the score
Yeah.
made it.
For that part alone, I would say IMAX is the way to go, or
Yes.
XD if you're short like $2. I mean, that's like it's like a $2 difference, I would say. But yeah, something for me that struck was the way that we're able to execute the movie. Uh, a lot of these stuff, these scenes were supposed to be in reverse, as shown in the trailers, and there's this one specific hallway fight. I loved it. I actually did like it.
Wait, they did that all?
That was all real.
They did it.
That was yeah. I'll get into it later for those because I don't want to.
Dude, you just blew my mind.
I like the way they shot it.
Dude, this movie's better talking about it than it is watching
yeah,
it.
that's why the premise of the show, the podcast, it's let's talk movies. Either the movie progressively gets worse or it gets better for you over time, which I think this is one of the movies that will indeed get better with time. Inception, it was a very confusing movie when it came out.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure a lot of people just didn't like it for that part
Yes.
itself. But you look back at it, it's been probably it's been not even 2 months ago, a few months ago. It turned 10 years old since it released in cinemas.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, 2010.
Wow.
And it was one of the greatest movies.
I remember 2010.
Good times.
No.
We were also 9. If that,
We were 9.
I was 9, or turning 9.
I was 8.
Oh.
I'm little.
Babies.
Baby.
Baby Tomas.
Baby Tomas.
Yeah.
I remember because the Rangers won the or they lost the World Series. And I was mad.
That was pretty bad. Anyways, that scene, it kind of connects into the airplane scene. The score.
Yep.
That's probably my favorite part of the soundtrack is that score itself. Just the bass and that is just killer. The seats were vibrating. While that was going on. Like
Yeah.
in that like in the other theater I watched it the previous 2 times, the theater did not shake like it did today.
Dude, we walked out of the theater and it was like
I
shaking.
felt I was,
it was
I couldn't- I
shaking.
was- you couldn't walk straight. You couldn't walk in a straight line.
It was shaking in the what's it called? Like where you buy your food and
The
stuff.
concessions.
Yeah, the concessions, like in the
For the popcorn was just
in
going
the lobby.
everywhere.
Yeah.
People couldn't keep the
Dude,
popcorn in the cup.
The popcorn machine wasn't even on. It was just popping because
They had to power that movie. So without spoiling the movie, what is one thing you didn't like about it?
I didn't like how quick it was.
Quick?
How quick it was.
Okay.
How fast it moved from scene to scene, and like how fast it progressed. How fast it progressed through the story, without filling in on some parts that I was very confused about. And it's like, who's that guy? We're supposed to know who that guy is. Who's that girl? Why does she?
And why is she here? And why is she saying this? I agree.
Why does
with
she?
you.
Why doesn't she have more screen time?
You got accepted because she didn't give more screens. I don't even know who you're talking about, but I'm gonna just go with it. This movie definitely has many flaws. I would say sound mixing is a really big one going into it.
What do you mean?
When scenes where they give exposition. Sorry, my exit kicked in. The exposition in this movie, when they're trying to give it, the score is amazing. The whole score is amazing, but I don't know. Christopher Nolan has done this in his previous other movies, Dunkirk, Interstellar, where it was hard to hear with the dialogue because of the score. And in
gotcha.
this movie specifically, it was extremely bad. All right, I'm sorry about that jump cut, but it was a necessary cut.
It was a very necessary cut.
But the score definitely took you away from the movie and the dialogue and the exposition where key stuff was being said, and it's just the bass hitting, and you couldn't hear what was going on. And it's one thing that could make it confusing for some viewers.
I will push back on that a little. I would say yes, it did, but I sort of in my mind I was like, oh, it's because of this the system that they're using that's really it's overcompensating the bass. So I don't know if that's like a thing on
The
like
the
the
the,
mixing
the
side,
being on IMAX
or
or
is it, or
the
if it's on like the movie theater, where it's just a poorly tuned system.
well, I was about to actually get into it.
Oh, I'm
I
sorry.
am a bunch of people have complained about this
Okay,
aspect, so it's definitely the
yeah, it's
movie.
a move on their part.
It's not a move. It's just poor choices in editing.
I am going to cut that
It,
out then. I'm not gonna
you're not gonna.
call. I'm not gonna call.
That's good. It's good input. It's good input because
Oh,
many
what's his
people don't
face?
know. I didn't even know that. I thought it was just my theater the
Who's
first time I saw it.
who's the
Director,
yeah.
Christopher Nolan.
Yeah, I'm not gonna call Christopher Nolan an asshole.
No, but
Dude, what if he wants to hire me?
maybe not.
Maybe go for yourself.
Maybe he hires us both. Hopefully. Anyways,
Dude, he hires me to be like an actor.
actor in the just as extra. But sound mixing was definitely a bad aspect, and
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't. It's not on your theater when you go see it. It's happened all three times I've seen the movie, and it's happened to other people in other states, and I mean it's one of the critiques about this movie. But other than that, I would say the pacing is pretty off. Um,
What do you mean? What do you mean by pacing?
Pacing, just the way the story's progressing and how you said like they
Okay,
were
okay,
jumping.
like this.
So it's
Okay.
something I'm agreeing up with you.
Yeah.
It was moving a little too fast in some parts, but it was also moving really slow in others. Um,
Yes.
if I ever get the chance to buy this on Blu-ray, uh, a lot of this movie is definitely going to be skipped. Um, and I don't think I'm the only one that thinks like this.
Yeah. No.
I mean, it has amazing action sequences, especially just in the way they were filmed. But just that was just a good action movie, or I wouldn't say action movie. I'll take that back. It's a spy movie because it's what Christopher Nolan intended it to be, and it's his mindset. I should have gone while watching this movie, which I didn't, and I think that's why it disappointed me more
Okay.
watching it.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
So yeah, but I I was like sitting the first time I saw it, I was like giggling like a little kid because I was so excited to watch this movie. But yeah, it definitely it pains me to say that it's not one of Christopher Nolan's best movies, but it's entertaining
It
for the
is
most.
entertaining. Yes.
Um, so I guess we're closing down on the spoiler-free review side of this movie. So out of 1 out of 10, you can use the decimal system if you want. What would you rate it?
4.2.
4.2. And as someone that doesn't watch movies, that is you. As much as someone like me, I know
Bus. You're just throwing me under the bus. As someone.
there's nothing wrong with that, but I mean, someone that like that wants to
Say it.
that wants to aspire to be a director and get into the aspect of
We're talking about you. Okay.
yeah. Bye. That sounded so bad and egotistical. Thanks. Um,
Oh, okay. It's all about you.
I'm hosting, trying to host. It's not always about me.
It's all
Alex, it's not always about you.
the
Not
whole
everything's
world's not
about
about you.
not everything's about you. But so as someone that doesn't watch movies,
Yeah.
as a die-hard film fan,
Mhm.
you gave it a 4.2, right?
Yeah, I mean, I would say I'm coming into it as, I guess,
Unbiased and or
yeah,
I mean,
because I'm not too much into technical things on movies. I'm just like seeing it's like, how does this make sense in my mind? Because I'm not someone who's looking at it and looking at the pace of it and like trying to figure out like the plot twist or something. I'm just watching it as a consumer of the media.
yeah.
Yeah.
I guess you would say something that like, for me, it's not something I like do while watching a movie. It just happens
Mhm.
with me watching it. Like, I go to a movie. I'll probably if it's a movie like this, I'll watch it multiple times at a theater. But the first time viewing a movie, it's always about the experience and just experiencing it as a movie. And as a creative standpoint, I would say that's where the second viewing comes in.
Okay.
and you actually start looking through the movie and like how they shoot it. But I would give it a probably a 6 flat out of
Okay.
10.
And
Um,
is that you? Is that you giving that as a viewer, or as you're impressed with like the ingenuity behind
if
it,
I think
or
it's an average between both.
okay.
The edge, like the stuff going into the movie, like
Mm-hmm.
the creativity, all the thought process, and all the way they shoot it, and the way the score and all that coming together, that it really averages it up because that's probably like a 9.2.
Okay.
And like I'm not doing straight math, but like as like if I was just a regular viewer, it would have definitely been like a 4
Yeah.
because this movie is just I don't know, it's not it. Um, Kids are definitely not meant to go watch this movie. So if you have like a little cousin or brother that wants to go see this, I highly do not
Don't.
recommend wasting those $10 on them. Just enjoy it as a honestly age recommendation, maybe 15 and up.
30.
30, definitely 30. But just for the aspect of watching action, I would actually I'll raise it up to 18 because
Mm.
it's a lot of exposition. It's it's James Bond, but on steroids in the aspect of the action. But
What
it's
are
also
steroids?
let's not get into that. But and the aspect of just the in between stuff, like the filler stuff,
Mm-hmm.
it definitely drags for some people, and I would say it takes them away. But if you're looking to go see something that blows your mind, I highly recommend watching Tenet in theaters. Definitely don't wait until it streams. It won't feel the same. And if you, I think watching it on your phone or on your like laptop,
That would make it worse.
it definitely would make it worse. And I don't know. This movie was meant to be experienced in IMAX, and we did that today, and I'm glad we did.
Yeah.
And watch it in theaters. So I highly recommend it. So as someone for you, would you recommend it, or what recommendations would you have for someone to go watch this?
I would say. I was about to say smart people.
That is true.
But I'll say it would be like a very kind of like it. It would be for a very like specific type of person, someone who likes kind of like complex issues
Mm-hmm.
and thinking through things. Because if you're not into that and it doesn't make sense to you, then you're just gonna like flat out just zone out and fall asleep, which is
Although it's a loud movie, you will probably still fall asleep and wake up just in time for all those
yeah.
action scenes. All right. So you said it was a 4.2. I said it was a 6 flat.
Yeah.
So now we are going to get into the spoiler side of this podcast on
Kids, cover
Tenet.
your ears.
Sorry,
I said, kids, cover your ears.
cover your ears, um, and close your eyes if you're listening.
Close your eyes.
um, so we're gonna go now a little bit more in depth into this movie. Definitely gonna talk about key plot points in this movie. So if you don't want any of that ruined for you, I would suggest now is a perfectly good time to leave. And if you don't care, or if that spoiler-free section just made you just like not bother watching it, or not, or if you just didn't give a since the get-go, um, well, you're welcome to stay. But if not, I mean, this is I guess last call.
Last
Uh,
call.
but let's go. Let's get into it. What is something specifically that really just got you confused in this movie? That just got you like hit the fan for you, and you're like, what the
The
going on?
inverted time. The way like when he went back,
The when
like when
after the
he
highway sequence.
yes, and when
Okay.
he went and when she got shot,
Yeah, that
and then he went back out to go find whatever he was looking. I well half the time I didn't know what he was looking for, and then at the end it's like, oh, it's like this is like just a sequence or something. I don't know what it was, but see, I'm still confused by
you're
this.
confusing yourself as you talk.
Dude, I'm just
I can try to.
I feel passionate about this issue. It's like just the way that everything, like I don't know if the guy was like
inverted.
If he was inverted too, or if he was not inverted, or if he was inverted and not like you get.
Yeah. I would
Anyone
say
who's listening to this is gonna be like, "What the hell?
because he's
Like,
just
what the hell?"
pointing.
are
He's
they-"
like pointing different directions. Like, what
I'm
the hell's
pointing-
going on?
That's what I'm saying.
I would say that scene is specifically
The
where
worst
it would
scene.
lose
Me.
half or even completely all the audience at that point. Thomas is one of them. The first time I saw it, I'm not gonna lie, I was just like, "What the hell is going on?"
I feel better.
But the sound mixing didn't help in that either, because they had. I don't know if you realized, but when they were talking, like they have this machine that apparently like reverses their. Well, they were like, let's say they were inverted. It reversed what they were saying.
Did that?
Yeah, that's how they were communicating, but you really couldn't hear it because of all that loud going
Yeah,
on.
no, you couldn't.
And like the first time, I'm like, the is going on? I was completely lost. And then they did all that where they come in and out.
Well, because like you don't even like notice it, because like it, like the voice with like the normal thing comes in, and then they start talking, and then you're just like, wait, is that what he said? I don't know what he said.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, I guess we've moved on from this.
Also, from the beginning of the movie, when the lady is showing actually, do you know that the main character is actually called the protagonist in the movie? So they never actually called him by a name or anything. So he's the only one without a name.
That's
He's
right.
lit-
He
he's-
doesn't have a name.
He's actually literally labeled as the protagonist in the script and in the what is it
Dang.
called? The credits.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah. So, and I mean they did mention him. I forgot the Indian chick's name. They mentioned it, but it was like, again, you couldn't really hear anything. But she mentioned I mentioned him as the protagonist, and they had the little conversation going out throughout the film.
Yes.
But before that, the protagonist was in the before they put him into the. No, it was after that. After the windmills, where he was talking to the lady and they were shooting the
Yeah.
bullets backwards and all that. The thing that like really, I don't know, it's a pet peeve, I would say. It pisses me off because like they didn't get back to it, and like it just made the movie all the inversion shit just more confusing, because they were like doing all the inversion shit in real life.
Yeah.
Like they didn't like, yeah, they said it was like the bullet, like he couldn't like pick it up like without the thing because he had to drop it supposedly.
He didn't drop it.
I mean, he like,
was like,
no,
what
the
the
action
hell?
of dropping it, so like you
Oh.
had to kind of pick it up, but like that doesn't play out in the movie at all. Like that's the only time they show
Yeah,
it.
no, it
So it
didn't.
was just like a little tease, but something that
Nope.
probably if they brought it into the whole movie, it probably would have been much better. And if they would have kept it like that, I probably think it would have been a more entertaining and more understandable movie.
You know what made me so mad
What?
about that scene was when they were talking, and then they were like both knew exactly what they were talking about. It's like, so is this? Yeah.
And you're
then I
just
was
like, what the?
like, hold on, what? You understood that?
Like you understand? You literally just did not know Jack before you entered it. Now you're
That's
on the same.
That's exactly
rank.
what I'm saying. I'm like, that man is smart, or the script just doesn't go anywhere.
I mean, he was a smart person because his decisions throughout the movie did like he did think them through because like they're like, why didn't you do this? And he was like, oh, that scene where they do a little bit before the inversion scene. They're like, he was gonna shoot her anyways if I didn't lie or if I did lie.
Yeah.
So like he does know that aspect. He's definitely had experience in all that spy stuff. Going into it, we were talking about the confusion, right?
Yeah.
Um,
That's what I hated about it. Yeah, that's weird.
just I don't know, like the dialogue was really hard to understand, and not just like hearing it, but it's just like understanding it.
Yeah.
The movie doesn't try to baby you, which is one thing I really like, because some movies they're like English please, and then they dumb it down for the audience. But like in that aspect, they don't say jack in the smart aspect of it. But here, everything they're saying is like true, supposedly. Like,
Oh, okay.
But like-
I see where you're going.
but like they don't. I don't know. Like I guess they could have dumbed it down a little bit for us,
For me.
but not for everyone actually,
Okay.
unless you're like someone that's a physician or something like that.
I'm pretty dumb.
Yeah. So yeah, that really sucked. And it's one of the things that really takes you away from the movie. So
We talked about like good things, because I hate to be
Well,
like negative Nelly.
yeah, I know
Over here.
we've been on this
Yeah,
movie.
yeah, that's what I was saying. I just don't
Yeah,
feel.
that was actually my next part.
Okay, good.
So let's get into that. Probably my favorite. One of my favorite parts of the movie was the airplane scene.
That was a badass scene. The first scene,
The
like the first time it happened, not the second time where it was
Oh,
inverted.
when they come back
That
to
was
it,
horrible,
that was a little horrible. It was pretty bad.
and it was so loud too. At that
It's
moment,
gonna be
I was just like, oh my god, I'm
and the
just like
score. It
so
wasn't even the
tired.
score. It was just the
It was just loud.
it's just the effects, the sound effects. Um, the score really helped out with that scene specifically in the first time going.
Yeah.
Um, the action, it was the fighting specifically in that was amazing. Um, so that was something I was gonna get into. I'm gonna hop back onto the behind the scenes because that's something I really liked. Um, the way they shot that hallway scene. There's actually footage of not specifically of the hallway scene, but them practicing doing all the inversion fighting. So
Ooh, that
that's
is hot.
like they actually make him like they flip him over and he walks instead of like walking up the wall like that. Like they're actually walking backwards and all that.
Ooh.
And like when he like body slams him, like they're actually like I don't know what
Where
like
he does
what I don't know what
backwards?
specific yeah I don't know what specific muscles they use to like pull that off, but it definitely takes a lot of I would say core muscles. Um, but that scene, all that was like it was actually for real. Like they didn't reverse it. I think they reversed it in like as in they used the same footage for both parts of when they both fighting scenes, just because it's the same scene.
You
But
know
I
how
mean they
happy
use
that
different
makes me?
angles. But yeah,
Makes me so happy that they like actually tried
they
to do it.
actually like that's something about Christopher Nolan. Something that makes his movies amazing is he really hates CGI,
Uh-huh.
and he takes everything like I mean he does. It's really
He's like the Tom Cruise of directors.
yes, exactly. But he does use some CGI
Mm-hmm.
because you can't really have a movie like that and not use it,
Yeah.
especially in explosions like that.
When the car
All,
flipping over.
yeah, and just I don't know they actually flipped the car.
They
over.
really flipped the car
They
over like
flipped
that.
all that
Oh my
stuff is real.
God.
I also liked the bus sequences when they get all the buses around the convoy just to escort that out.
Oh,
That
yeah.
was also a good part. The highway scene basically
Yeah.
was
That was a good.
amazing. All that actually shot. I saw a video on YouTube. It was like a short 30-second clip of like the car driving backwards and doing the little 360 or 180.
They did that. Oh my.
They all that they closed down a highway for like I think they said 3 weeks, and they shot all that.
Wow.
Yeah. The scenery and the cinematography was amazing. I mean, not the best I've seen. Definitely not like the Oscar worthy stuff, but
Mhm.
out of the movies that have been able to come out in theaters, it's definitely probably the best that I know of and that I've seen. This movie was really good in that aspect, and the visuals were just beyond amazing. The last scene, that's something I really liked, although it confused me because like it makes you think. Was when they use like the bazookas or the RPGs to shoot the building at the same time.
Yeah.
So like it built up and then it built down and it exploded. They use that scene in the trailers. It really like if you like it's not something that you should appreciate just by looking at it. You should definitely not think about it because my brain hurts just trying to figure out like how that shit works. I'm like if they shot it first and if they shot it beforehand and all that. It's just
Yeah, I don't understand that.
funny enough, the first time I saw the ending, the first all that because they have to get all in time and like they couldn't I forgot her name, Catherine, the tall 6 foot something lady. She's practically 7 foot compared to all the actors.
Dude, she was real tall.
She was tall, and on top of that, she was wearing heels, and
Yeah.
she was like 8 feet tall. Like when it was hilarious. Comparing like seeing her stand next to John David Washington. Like I'm sorry, I feel so bad for him. Like I'm a 5'8" myself, and I would never want to stand next to her, especially as an actor like that. Um, but yeah, like she couldn't kill him because if he killed him, it triggered the bomb. But they also had to get the bomb, prevent it from dropping into the whole world. The whole explosion in the whole world would like end
Yeah.
as it goes on. Uh, Like the first time I saw it, I'm I don't know, like the stakes weren't there for me.
Yeah.
Probably because I didn't understand that part. Like I wasn't paying attention because it just zoned out. Sadly, the first viewing where I was excited to go see it. The second time, I took my cousin, my younger cousins. One of them's I think just turned 13, and the other one's 17. And yeah, they were both confused. But Mike, actually, funny enough, my 17-year-old cousin, like he like figured out the twist.
Oh,
Like
really?
when he was bleeding when the container, and he was like, "Oh, you're bleeding," and he was like, he turns to me, he's like, "Dude, that's he was fighting himself." I'm like, "Yeah, I saw this movie." He was like, "You did? I thought you said you didn't." And I'm like, and like I knew that I knew from the beginning when they actually happened. Um, Slightly, like actually a little bit after that whole
Okay.
airplane scene
Yeah.
the first time. Um, but definitely, that was one of I literally just lost myself. Train of thought just went out the way. Um,
Welcome to my world, dude.
is
You're just talking and then
just forget.
you just forget.
That's something
But like your mouth
I
keeps talking and you're just like, I don't know what I'm saying.
I definitely have gone in tangents about movies, where I go on a tangent about, let's say I go on a tangent about this movie, and then I'm like, it reminds me of another movie, and I talk about it, and then I talk about another one, and then I come back to it, and I'm like, wait, which movie was I talking about? And then they're like, you're talking about this, and I'm like, okay, but like, what was I talking about it? And now I'm just tangenting off here. All right. So yeah, that's something I liked about the movie. Would you? I'm guessing you are on the same page for all the inversion stuff that was understandable.
Yeah. I like the action scenes with the inversion. Um, Other than that, everything just confused me. But the plane was cool.
No, yeah, definitely. I think that's something a lot of people are going to talk about, especially people that want to strive to be directors and stuff like that, or just enjoy the technical stuff behind a movie. We'll definitely talk about
Yeah.
it because it's something that probably I don't think it's been done before other than like CGI,
Yeah.
but like or they've done something probably something similar, but something like that. I don't think it's the first time.
Gee, yeah, no. I mean,
I don't know. It's
I mean,
been
just
done.
think about it. Like, they had to do it one take.
I think they took a lot of precaution before filming that, and they definitely executed that um, well. Um, so I guess we're gonna go into a little bit more behind the scenes of this movie. Like I said, a lot of the stuff is shot in real time. Uh, the fighting scenes, the driving, all of that. The explosions, I would say, is the only thing. Oh, just remembered what I was talking about. I'm sorry about this. I'm going back to the aspect of.
Back it up.
I'm gonna back it up a little bit to the stakes of the ending, because the first time I watched it, I definitely did zoned out, and I didn't understand the plan. I knew the general thing, the gist of like, don't let the thing drop in, and don't kill him. But like, I don't know, it just didn't. You don't feel it in some movies. You're like at the edge of your seat, or you're like
Yeah,
roughing
no.
through your hair, or you're like doing this little number of tapping your foot, and like you're like anxious. It makes you anxious because like you don't know.
This
If,
one was just like, huh?
yeah,
That's what it was.
but funny enough, on my third viewing, uh, I was like, dude. I mean, I already knew the outcome. I've seen it like twice, but like I was like, dude, like. I was not shaking, but I was tapping my foot. I was like ruffling my hair and all that. I'm like,
Yeah, you were.
I'm surprised you, you saw that. I mean, um,
Dude, I was surprised sleeping.
uh, I didn't even bother to check, bro. I was checking my phone like half the time on the slow scenes, and like I felt bad like just pulling out my phone because I mean we paid to watch the movie and it was on IMAX.
We?
You paid.
Yeah.
It's technically like kind of like my birthday present or something.
Dude, I paid for a gas birthday present. Don't even start on that.
All right, let's just not talk about it. Anyways, I think anything you want to say about the movie?
No.
No. Um,
I've said all I have to say about it.
yeah, I mean, at the same time. There's a lot to say about it. There's a lot to say, and there's a lot
To
like
not
not
say.
to say. Just the way it is.
Yeah.
Uh,
You should have got me when I watched Instant Family.
I was Oh, I didn't know it was gonna affect you like that. So
Dude, we would have gone deep,
deep.
deep.
I saw that movie once and it still stuck with me.
Yeah, I've only seen it once.
You
It's
said you
like,
saw it multiple times or something like
no,
that.
I didn't. You said
Anyways, going back to Tenet.
that. Put words in
Any
my mouth.
anything else on the
No.
movie? No.
No, it's just confusing.
Yeah,
I feel bad about myself. I felt worse coming out of the movie than I did going
it
in.
makes you think. I was like, are you really paying attention in school,
Yeah.
or did you
Are you
really ever
really-
pay attention in school? But
Maybe I should have cared a little more.
a little bit more. Funny enough, physics was like one of my favorite classes.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, I was in pre-AP physics.
Oh.
So, but I mean, I enjoyed the class. My teacher was amazing. Shout out to Mr. Meacham. Doubt he's ever hearing this, but for those of y'all that do know him, he's an amazing teacher. He was fun to have.
Make him
And probably
listen
he'll
to it.
probably enjoy the movie. I don't know. He'll also probably hate it just for the aspect of it's being confusing as and it also being just the sound mixing will probably take him out. Let me talk a little bit more about the score before we go. Something because I know you like music and all that, or that's what you were leaning more towards. But I don't know. I can't. I don't want to butcher his name. But have you seen Black Panther? Or do you know
Yes.
who?
Yeah.
It's the same composer for that movie.
Really? Black
Uh,
Panther was a good score.
It was.
No, it was like the first movie I like listened to, and I was like, whoever did this like music,
He actually won the Oscar for that movie.
Yeah, he
for Best
did.
Score.
yeah, he better
So
did.
yeah.
He better have. He better did.
Ludwig Göransson. I definitely butchered that last name, but he's also did the Creed movies. He did Creed 1 and Creed 2. Creed 2 being the stronger movie for me. Definitely recommend both movies. Creed 2,
Was that the one?
where he fights Draco or Draco's son.
That was a good movie.
The training sequence in that one.
That was
You know that's part of my running playlist. That the song they played throughout.
really?
Yeah,
Yeah, it is.
I mean it motivates you a lot. But yeah, he was a composer for this movie. Funny enough, him and Hans Zimmer. Hans
Uh-huh.
Zimmer is an amazing
Legend.
composer. Yes,
Living.
one of the best living composers. John Williams as well, but he has the classic Star Wars songs. But Hans Zimmer has definitely been a partner with Christopher Nolan in his movies, Inception,
Okay.
Interstellar.
Yeah. Interstellar. Never watched the movie, but you showed me the soundtrack.
I'll probably bring you back and we'll watch that movie. It's one of my favorite
There we
movies.
go.
Maybe.
That'd be-
That's a long movie too. That's actually longer than Tenet. Funny enough.
long movies.
He makes really long movies, but I mean that one actually probably plays by faster.
So
It's
4 hours or whatever it's in.
yeah. Uh, definitely recommend that movie. Hans Zimmer. He's also did the Dark Knight, the theme for the Dark Knight,
Yeah. Yeah.
and all that score was amazing. Especially when I'm going on a little tangent before we go. The interview scene, not the interrogation scene with Heath Ledger's Joker and Christian Bale's Batman.
Oh yeah.
You can, I want to say it's the electric guitar, like picking up in the back, or is like intensifying the scene.
Mhm.
And apart from the acting, that was an amazing scene.
Yeah.
And I would say the score is probably one of the key parts in that movie, or in that specific scene as well. But yeah, they wanted Hans Zimmer to compose this movie.
Oh really?
But there's
He said no.
no, it's not that.
Oh.
He actually got busy, or I think he was contracted with Dune, the
Oh,
trailer with
yeah.
Timothée Chalamet.
Yeah.
He's actually the composer for that one.
Nice.
Yeah, Blade Runner 49. He also did that one.
Okay. Yeah.
Funny enough, it's the same director for both those films, but he was too busy composing for that movie.
Is that like a thing? Like a director has their
A
kind of like
specific-
their score guy or composer?
It could happen. I mean, like John Williams did like I think like all but one of the Star Wars films, and that was like one of the spin-offs that he didn't do.
Yeah.
But he did do all the 9 canon movies.
Okay.
Although most of them he definitely used the same
Yeah,
original
he's-
score, the song. But I mean, you can't blame him. It's
it's
Star Wars. It's Star Wars.
Jinx.
Jinx.
Can't
But I would say uh, some directors probably do have their choices.
Okay.
Uh,
And that's like, is the
Hans Zimmer.
director's, like, he's the one that's making that call. It's like, who's, or is it?
Honestly, I wouldn't be. I'm learning as I go on this
Uh-huh.
film industry stuff. Because I've been going back and forth on what I wanted to be growing up.
Yeah.
Director was always been the thing as a child or an actor,
Mm-hmm.
and trying to look at it realistically, I wanted to go into the engineering and like not electrical engineering but software engineering
Okay.
and creating like iPhones and all that. Because I always wanted to do something where that impacts the world,
Yeah.
and now I know that film is definitely something that could impact someone, either just conveying the message or just inspiring someone. So I guess that's a little backstory for me
Yeah.
going into film and why I want to do it. But anyways, uh, probably I would say yes because it's director's choice,
Okay.
especially in a movie like this where Christopher Nolan wrote it,
Yeah.
and it's basically like his baby,
Mhm.
and he wants everything his way.
Yep.
And I think Ludwig was, sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. Was probably, I mean, he's like he's really young, and I think his career is barely just the tip of the iceberg right now
Wow.
with what he has released, and yeah,
I mean, Black Panther and this one.
and Creed.
Creed?
I don't know if it did Creed 1, but he definitely was in one of the songs in there, but he did do Creed 2.
Okay.
If you actually go listen to it, it's kind of similar to Tenet, or some aspects of it.
Okay.
Like you could see his touch, like you know what
Gotcha.
Hans Zimmer is.
Yeah, okay, you know.
You
Yeah.
can tell with him
Yeah,
in
yeah,
these
makes sense.
movies. But yeah, we actually, I think we broke an hour, did we? Wow, we're going for, well, without all the cuts. Yeah,
Dude, we're at
man,
10 minutes.
we also got the cuts that we need to make. But anyways,
30 minutes.
30 minutes. I hope not.
30 minutes of them talking.
That is true. Thank you, Thomas, for
Yes.
helping me record. And
Dude, thank you for having me on.
this is
Fun.
it definitely was an experience watching
man.
this movie. Tenet is out in theaters as of right now. Definitely recommend watching it in theaters as well. Any other closing remarks you got?
No.
Do you want to plug yourself in by any chance? Or your music?
I have a podcast. I haven't done anything on it, and I probably will never do anything on it again. But if you want to listen to it, it's on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all sorts of things. Wherever you want to listen to podcasts. It's called Ramblings and Rants with Thomas.
Funny enough, I'm like this, like
He
in one
is-
of them.
He is a guest on one. So if you liked our dynamic and
There's
the dynamic of our background noise,
there's more.
there's more.
There's probably like an hour and
There-
like 20 minutes of it.
There's like 2 hours of it.
2
let's
hours.
be honest.
Probably the uncut version.
The uncut version, yes. We have lots of.
And actually, I still have yet to release
Do you need to release video?
the video
Yeah.
of that podcast.
The video of someone trying to plug in an Android charger into their iPhone.
One of the funniest moments of my life. But anyways,
That was the
thank you,
best moment.
Thomas.
Dude, thank
Um,
you, man. Dude, we need to mic that up.
We mic'd up. High five.
Yeah, that's right, we
But
did. See, that's what I'm saying. Our background noise.
thank you for purchasing the movie tickets and taking your time.
Happy birthday.
Late, but yeah, of course. But also thank you for taking time from your busy schedule to be here.
For sure, dude.
And thank y'all at home if you're listening, and if you actually stuck through
All
this
this.
really amateur podcast. And
Dude, we're pro as hell here. Don't
we're,
even start.
actually pro now. Make 2 podcasts, we'll become pros. I don't know when the next podcast would be. It definitely. I didn't actually take that long to record this or actually plan this out. Probably within
Today?
a week. I mean, yeah, we planned it like yesterday,
Yeah.
but I'll try to keep y'all updated. This should be on Spotify. It's definitely going on YouTube. As of right now, my channel is Adrian Olvera. For those of you that know how to spell my last name, if you don't, I'm sorry. You can follow me on Instagram at AdrianO1Vera with a V. And thank y'all for listening. This was Let's Talk Movies with Adrian.